Peace.
Oh, what have I got myself into? Thanks for joining me for my very first live show. Raina said she will do these in the future, but not this first one. And if you're ever a nomad, don't ever, ever plan your first live show for the day before you leave. So we just got back from Merida, Mexico, and the Yucatan this week, and about 7 days ago. And tomorrow we're going to leave. We are driving up to Vancouver. We're going to start out going to Crater Lake in Oregon. We're going to go to Seattle, spend a week there, see my good friend Samuel, and then we're going to drive up to Vancouver. So then we're going to take a cruise up to Alaska because we've never done an Alaska cruise. So, but thank you guys. We are here in Albuquerque at our Airbnb right now. This beautiful, beautiful backdrop. In the next 6 or 7 hours, we'll talk about how to become a nomad. So let's pace ourselves here. Joking. So we are, might feel like it when you're done. So this is a one-man show. I'm just learning the software, so bear with me tonight, and we'll get there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So let's get started. Talking to my friend Garapata, Garrett, we went over the steps that I came up with to be a digital nomad or an expat, and he said, well, what about sampling? You know, should you maybe sample a location or two? And then that got me off to thinking, well, before you do anything, you have to get your mind right. And it's not simple if you've worked your whole life and now you're planning on hitting the road, and it's not an easy thing. So we did it, we planned it. This started years ago. Let me pull this book up here. I'll just talk about it. So Rena bought me a book called How to Retire Overseas. And it started my mind racing like, is this something we could really do? And I'd say we've been to about 20 something countries. I've been to like 40 something countries total. And it's definitely something I think we could live overseas. I don't think we will live overseas for any length of time, but that kind of got my brain thinking, okay, you can do this. So about 5 years before we left, we actually left in 21, we started getting rid of everything. And we started this long plan on paying off our bills, getting rid of all of our debt, and just hitting the road. And so 2021 came around, it's like, yeah, let's go. And we hit the road. And COVID had changed everything, so we couldn't really go out of the country. So we just started driving up to Vermont. And we took like 3 or 4 months, and that kind of got it going for us. So let's look at the steps. This is what I came up with. And I put, sorry, I got to position myself. The first thing you want to do is commit if you don't have a SIGO, but if you have a SIGO, you really have to get buy-in from that person. I mean, there's so much psychology that's going to happen if you commit to doing this that you don't even know is going to happen until you hit the road. So here's what we did. Like I said, we started driving to Vermont, and we would go one night and we would get in a hotel or we would get an Airbnb, and then we kept driving. And what we found out was you can go too fast. And we had the buy-in together, but collectively we learned this as time went on. And another thing is the psychology. You and your SIGO are going to be probably different. And I'm probably the more nomadic person, and Raina is more, I like to travel, but I like to be at home. I like to travel, I like to be at home. So we are still making changes up until right now. I mean, we're at about 6 months in Albuquerque, 6 months on the road right now. So we're kind of part-time nomads, and we kind of stick to the spring and fall when we travel. And we're home for the holidays and we're home for the summer. So it's about a 6-month split right now. So, okay, let me check comments here. Hey, Valerie. Hey, Sammy. Oh, let's see, there's Sam. Thank you guys for joining. And so, the first thing, like I said, step number 1, get with your SIGO. You guys got to come up with a plan together. Now, if you get past step 1, and that is a huge step, is to get buy-in, because I personally know people, family, that they really don't. Let's see, how do I say this? So one might like to fly everywhere, one might like to drive everywhere, one might not like travel, one likes travel. So I mean, I've seen it all, and it's hard when one really wants to travel and one doesn't. So that's step one. So you get past that step. Ooh, shook the whole system here. You get past that step. Step two might or might not be easy, and that involves getting rid of your debt. And we'll talk about income streams in a minute, but when you're on the road, you don't know what your costs are going to be until you really get out there. And something we didn't figure out was that summers would be more expensive for Airbnbs in the United States. So it was just one of those things where the more debt we paid off and the more debt we reduced, the better off we were. So if you're maybe 4 or 5 years away from implementing your plan, then I would say pay everything off. I mean, if you can get all of your credit card debt, maybe your car. As we got closer, we reduced our debt. We put money into savings, and we sold everything. We sold everything we owned, and we have one small storage room that's about a 5x10 that holds everything we own. So if it's not in our car, if it's not in the storage room, but then we use that money to put in our savings to build up for when we were on the road. So we'll probably spend a whole episode on maybe debt reduction, and it's so important, because when you get into your income streams, if your input doesn't equal your output, it can be disastrous. So, especially, you can't sell it. If you sell your house, you sell everything. We rented our house. We didn't sell our house, but we sold all the stuff inside of it. So we'd already started. We had a 1-year lease for people renting our house. So it was like 1 year. We were definitely going to do 1 year at the very minimum. So, the debt is huge. So let's see, step 3. It's kind of along the same lines. It's to get a hold of your stuff. I mean, you got to get control. Oh, sorry, got a question here. I think I answered that. Did you just sell your house or just rent it out? So we rented it out, and actually that's one of our income streams. We get more in from the renter thanks to the rising prices of rent, and we apply that to our travel. So it's a great time to sell. I mean, it was a great time to sell, and we thought about it, but we thought, if things don't work out, that's something I think we applied a little bit of logic to our our thought process and said, worst comes to worst, we can kick the people out of our house. Sorry, not used to talking so much. So let's see, let me go over my notes here. All right. Oh, when we got rid of stuff, if you do come up with this plan to be a nomad, use everything you can. And I would Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, garage sales, we donated stuff. It's amazing how much stuff you have. And it's amazing. We had stuff in our closet that had tags on it. And if you're that kind of person that is like, I'm not going to call you a hoarder, but somebody who keeps a lot of stuff, it's hard. I mean, it's such a mental connection that you have to your stuff that getting rid of it is not easy. And man, we got rid of some stuff that bordered on being sentimental. So what about serious keepsake items? The most important things that we have, probably our photographs, and we put that into a climate controlled storage room here in Albuquerque. And then I'm a geek, so all of our hard drives are backed up in multiple locations. We have one on the road with us, and we have one that is in the climate controlled storage room. So we went with it was a brand new outfit here. Can't remember the name of it, but I'll post it later on the notes. But it's just the keepsake stuff is all we kept. I mean, really, we kept a few other kitchen items and stuff like that that we like to have, but no, that's yeah, it's it's tough. I mean, it's tough. You go through like I've got some of my grandfather's records from World War II, and I've got some of my dad's stuff from the Vietnam when he was in Thailand, and I got to keep it. I got to keep it forever. So it's some of that keepsake stuff. That's about all we kept, and so let's see. Now let's talk about income streams. Okay, so this is for the veterans out there. If you are retired, you're getting your pension, more than likely, if you served a long enlistment or career in the military, you're probably getting some VA. So you've got, and a lot of my military buds have houses that rent out. So if you can just turn that and reduce your bills and you have your income streams, there is a possibility of being a digital nomad, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what I'm finding, unless you have a real specialty that you can take online and take remote 100%, it's going to be very tough. Now, some of the income streams I've done, we rented our house. I actually wrote a couple of books on Amazon. We work for Amazon occasionally, and we did it. Our friend Hoff was doing it, and he told us about it. So we decided we'd do it. We applied, and we heard about it a year later. It took a year for us to get in, and then when Raina and I would deliver Amazon packages, like that's fun, and it's work. It's a lot of work. You fill your whole car up with packages, and then you deliver them. So you've got to be thinking in income streams. You don't have to have a full-time job, but you do have to have something coming in to pay the bills. And then when you really start thinking of income streams, once you get your income streams down, you go to the fifth step, which is you've got to decide the where, the when, and the how you're going to go. So I think the number one question we get asked is, do you guys just drive around in an RV? And we really, really studied that. Raina's an analyst, and she looked at doing the RV thing. We started getting into the cost, and then we started getting into the hitting the road on an RV. And it just it's for some of our friends. It's not for us. I think we're more of the drive a car to an Airbnb and then experience the Airbnb or the Armed Forces Vacation Club, and we can talk about all that stuff. But you really got to figure out how are you going to do this, and some of that is directly corresponding to your income streams. If you don't have enough money to put gas in an RV and to drive an RV and to pay for an RV insurance and everything and all the hookups and everything, it's going to be a difficult lot for you. Since we balance, we did our first quarter here in the United States, but then last year we spent about, I'd say, 4 months overseas, going to Hawaii and Australia, and then this year we spent 2 months in Mexico. So for us, an RV is not really something we can do. All right, Techie Nerd, put this question up here, and I'll answer this in a little bit. I think step 6 is going to be talking about going very digital and being virtual. So I'll answer this question here in a few. So let's see. Okay, so if you can't afford an RV, you really have to start thinking, how much can I afford per month? And if you can't afford a lot, and there are places amazing, and we'll talk about this. I think I can pull this up. Let's see if I can. All right, this is called Numbio. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So this is pretty cool. So let's just say we're going from Albuquerque and we are going to compare that to, let's make Garapata happy. This is where he has an apartment. Medellin, Colombia. So if you look, and this currency right here, that's Colombian pesos. Let's change that to USD. Uh-oh. Sorry, I had to turn it on to the screen. So, all right, so not Seattle. So if you look at the prices right here, consumer prices in Albuquerque are 166% higher than in Medellin. And then consumer prices are 212% higher. So this little line right here, you need around $5,300 in Albuquerque. Oh, they didn't put the USD. Let's go down to rent. That's where it usually hits you big. So to rent a one-bedroom apartment in Medellin in the city center is $319 a month, and it's about $1,500 a month in Albuquerque. So it is totally within reality to live somewhere like this on around $1,200 to $1,500 a month. You don't have to be making thousands and thousands of dollars to, let me fix this. You don't have to be making thousands and thousands of dollars to be a nomad. Now, it might cut down on the number of times you can travel, but something I would totally recommend this. 30 days minimum in a location. Minimum, bare minimum. 2 months, you get better, better feel for the culture. You get to know some of the people who are, living there, and everything that's going on in town. So, and let's see. Go back to the steps here. I think I skipped the become a minimalist. I think I've kind of talked about all that the whole time. When we first started, we took everything. Our car, it's an Accord, was almost full. From the back seat to the trunk was full. We had too many clothes. We had too much junk. And then when we started moving, we started buying kitchen supplies, not supplies, but spices and stuff like that. And when you're traveling and you're moving every week, it turned into a disaster, man. It was like, now, when we just went to Mexico, we only took one backpack and one suitcase each. So definitely something to think about is the amount of stuff that you take. Now, we take about 7 to 10 days worth of clothes, even less sometimes if you have the full up washer and dryer. So definitely you've got to minimize stuff. Let's see. Sam Garcia, prices in Mexico increased lately. No, we found the ones that were in numbio.com, and I'll put that in the comments. We found those prices to be pretty true, and I think comparing Merida to here, it's half the price of Albuquerque. And then if you move on down to like Pereira, Colombia, it's half the price of Merida. So it's 25% of the price of Albuquerque. So let's see. Merida, it's in the Yucatan. It's the number 2 safest city in than North America. It's safer than all similarly sized cities in the United States. It's only number 2 to Quebec City in Canada. And we felt safe the whole time. We were there the last 2 months and walked the streets at night, daytime, didn't worry. In some places of the world, you got to worry when you take a picture outside of the Uber because somebody will come by on a motorcycle and they'll nab your phone and take off. Didn't have that concern. The people were wonderful. The food is Yucatecan, and it's really good food, mainly corn. They do a lot of corn. Totopos, which are tortilla chips, are really integral in their food. And the culture's wonderful. They have a street there. It's not coming to my brain right now. But they close this giant street down. It's like 8 lanes, and they close it down for bicycles on Sunday. Artists put their stuff along the sidewalks. Helados, which is ice cream and frozen snacks, wonderful. Their food was great. The prices are amazing. You can eat like a 4-course fine dining, 2 people, probably for like $50. At the most, I think we spend. Sushi, I think, was about $50, $60. But yeah, check it out. I'll post some things maybe later about Merida. We've still got a lot of stuff to post. So let's see. The last step, and I'll talk about that mail service here, is to become virtual. And let's see. What we did, we were part of, there's a company here in Albuquerque that they allow you to have a physical address. In a lot of places, if you have a PO box or if you have something like that, they won't accept it. So we went with a physical address, and with this company, I think it's about $15 a month, and they scan the front of your envelope, and then they send that to you and say, what do you want us to do with it? And you can recycle it, you can shred it, you can have them open it, scan it, and send it to you, or you can have them physically package it up and send it to you. And what I usually do is, it can sit for 30 days in their thing without them charging you extra. And we'll have Elijah run and pick up our mail, but it's worked wonderfully. I have an app on my phone, and I'll go over the apps later because there's tons of apps that you use. It's called Anytime Mailbox, and it's a digital mail service that works perfectly. We get Amazon packages there. We get all of our mail there. It's my official address now. Let's see, got to check comments, got to keep checking comments. I need an assistant. I don't have an assistant. Yeah, Valerie, you're in Fort Collins, so if you compare the northern Colorado prices, it's a crowdsourced, Numbeo is a crowdsourced website, and I'll talk about tons. There's one called nomadlist.com, which is, if you want to be a nomad, it tells you about everything. And I'm going to have a complete show on probably that website, and probably one complete show on the Numbeo. So definitely going to talk about apps. There's apps that have saved our butts a couple of times, like maps.me. You don't need a signal. It'll go by the cell towers and it'll tell you where you are, and you can download the maps of the place where you're going. We'll talk about how to use Google to get around. I'm going to probably do one show every week. This is kind of fun. It's a little stressful at first, but another thing, by going virtual, you have to figure out your banking. And man, banking can screw you over if you're in another country and your ATM doesn't work, or you need to learn how to have access. If you have to go to Western Union and get money sent to you. Haven't had to do that yet, but we learned how to master Amazon. Mexico had Amazon boxes, and there's Amazon lockers all around the United States, and we've used them everywhere except for Pagosa Springs. At the time, they didn't have Amazon boxes. And so we had to resort to old school technology. Nothing hanging out of my nose. And, sorry, that's somebody putting this right here. Thank you, Lonnie, my cousin. So Amazon boxes, are everywhere, and Pagosa Springs didn't have an Amazon box. So we had to mail it to the central post office and go to the post office, show them our ID, and they gave them to you. So first show's under. Never, ever, ever schedule a show the day before you travel. So we're gonna finish the show, and then we're gonna pack everything up, get some sleep, and wake up. Let's see. I think that's it. Let's see, and this is what I'll show you guys later. Let's see, www. Add to scene. So this is Nomad list, and we'll go through all this at a later time. But it talks about, it rates all the nomad sites, and if you click like on Buenos Aires, I guess Buenos Aires is right in Argentina is #1 right now. Ooh, it's not coming up. It's frozen. Oh, well, maybe we won't click on that today. But I'll probably make a video on this. But this is a great resource if you want to be a nomad, and it breaks it down into like just tons, and then you can search, you can sort it by all kinds of different things. And it's interesting, but I'm seeing a lot of your digital nomads, and you see digital nomad, and you see this stuff right here. You see people working with a laptop on the beach. I'm not taking my laptop out on the beach, but I mean, I guess this could be a reality for some people, but I'm talking to a lot of digital nomads out there in the world, and they are saying they don't think it's like that. Their main complaint is slow internet, or not able to get the technology they need in their location. So you might have a really beautiful location, but if you don't have fast internet and you're doing online work like Zoom meetings or something like that, it's probably not going to work. So let's see. Ooh, clicking things. But thank you guys. I think I'm going to call that a show. Let's see. What did you miss? Yeah, you missed most of the show, Valerie. So that's okay. We'll have more. This will be recorded, and I think it's going to be shown on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So have to figure that out now, because man, I was always the guy behind the camera. Now I'm like in front of it, and it's like, oh my God. And then to do the technology later on is going to take a little time. So, but thank you guys. I appreciate you for viewing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The next show will come out probably, I'm going to try to do it next Wednesday. I think we'll be in Seattle by then, so I might do a quick blurb on Numbeo or maybe Nomad List. So if you can put some in the comments about what kind of stuff you would like to see in the shows, we'll definitely talk about, the stuff later on. So cool. Thank you guys for I was going to show you my setup. Check this out. This is my mobile setup right here.